Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to an insight to Parashat Matot Mas'eh that we're reading this Shabbat. And this presentation of mine will be slightly different, as I'll be talking about war. The Parashat talks about war. And we're in the midst of a war for over 9 months here in Israel. But let's try and understand what place war has in our parasha. In our parasha, it says quite clearly, "Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe le'emor." Moshe Rabbeinu has a commandment: "Nekom nikmat b'nei Yisrael me'et hamidyanim." Go and revenge. Achar te'asef el amecha. Take revenge on the Midyanim. Let me remind you from the last parashat, from the end of Parashat Balak, that the Midianites brought in the girls of Moab to tempt Am Yisrael, and 24,000 Jews died because of that. And it's time to take revenge. But the interesting point here is that the pasuk says, "Achar te'asef el amecha," which means once you take revenge, then you could die. You're now 120 years old. You've already appointed your Joshua as your successor. Everything's fine, and I've showed you the land of Israel from the other side of the Jordan, and now it's your time to die. But you cannot die yet. You cannot die yet simply because you haven't done everything I expect from you. And the last thing I expect from you is to go out to war. True, Moshe Rabbeinu had to organize a fight against Amalek when they were attacked just after Matan Torah. And again, he had to fight Sichon and he had to fight Og in Parshat Chokas. But now he had to fight again. What is all this? Is Moshe Rabbeinu our man of war? Is he a man of war? Is that what it's all about? He's the most spiritual man we've ever had. He is the father of all prophets we've ever had. The most spiritual man. He went up to the mountain of Sinai 40 days and 40 nights without eating. He went up twice. Well, what's going on here? Why is it that fighting and going out to war is a crucial mitzvah for him in such a way that he can't even pass away from this world peacefully? He has to go out to war once again. And then we find something very interesting. And Moshe Rabbeinu says, once he gets this commandment, he says, "Hechaltzu," which means, Rashi says, means let's do this mitzvah quickly. Even though he knows that his death depends on it, he wants to do this quickly. He wants to do this properly because it's his mitzvah, so let's do this. But there is, however, a very interesting insight here as far as this war is concerned. Why? Because Hashem says to him, you have to take revenge, nekom nikmat b'nei Yisrael. You have to take the revenge of Bnei Yisrael. And when Moshe Rabbeinu talks to Bnei Yisrael and tells them about this war, and he says to them, "Nekom nikmat Hashem b'Midyan." So what's going on? Is this nikmat? Is it a revenge for Bnei Yisrael, or is it a revenge for Hashem? So Chazal say, whoever fights Am Yisrael is fighting Hashem. And when we are defending Am Yisrael, we are fighting for Hashem. Our fights, our wars are religious wars. When we are protecting Am Yisrael, we are fighting a religious war. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's never been a more religious war than this current war. First of all, from the side of our enemies. Our enemies on the 7th of October, when they were doing all these atrocities, they were screaming Allahu Akbar, which means they're doing it in the name of Islam. And when we are fighting this war, this is a milchemet mitzvah. It's a very big mitzvah to be in battle in this war, and we're proud of our boys to go out to battle because it's a mitzvah. It's a rare mitzvah, I must say. For 1,900 years, we didn't have to do this mitzvah since the Bar Kokhba revolt 1,900 years ago. Against the Roman Empire, we haven't had a Jewish army. Now, in the last 76 years, we have a Jewish army. And fighting in a Jewish army to protect Jewish people is a big mitzvah, because you're defending not only Am Yisrael, you're fighting a religious war, you're fighting Nikmat Hashem. And if that is not enough proof, we go further on into the parsha, and we see in the parsha that we talk about Reuven, Gad, and half of Manasseh, who want to stay on the eastern border of the Jordan and not go into the land of Israel. And they want permission from Moshe Rabbeinu. And Moshe Rabbeinu in the beginning is very disappointed by the actual request, because he wants them all to go into Eretz Yisrael, but actually he asks Hashem, and Hashem says, okay, we'll do this, but on one condition, that Reuben, Gad, and half of Manasseh have to go and fight up front. They have to be the frontline soldiers for the whole of the capturing of the Western Bank, the whole of capturing of the whole of Eretz Yisrael. And they come to this deal. And how do they come to this deal? They come and they offer it. They say, "Anachnu." They say they bring the pasuk, and they say to Moshe Rabbeinu, "Anachnu nechaletz chushim lifnei bnei Yisrael." We will go in the front line, and we will fight in front of Bnei Yisrael. V'lo nashuv el beiteinu ad hitnachel bnei Yisrael ish nachalato. And we will not go back to our homes on the eastern part of the Jordan until we see that all our brothers are settled on the western part of the Bnei Yisrael are settled. And they talk just about Bnei Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu accepts their offer, but he corrects them. And he makes a few places. One of the corrections he makes is in Techadzu Lifnei Hashem LaMilchama. If you understand that you'll be in the front line, but the front line of a war, it's a war of Hashem, it's not a war of Bnei Yisrael. Va'avar lachem kol chalutzat haYarden lifnei Hashem. You'll be crossing the Jordan River towards this battle lifnei Hashem, because you're in front of Hashem. Ad horishom oivav mipanav v'nichbasha haaretz lifnei Hashem, and we're going to conquer the land in the name of God. B'shem Hashem. Yes, and then v'haita haaretz hazot lachem la'achuza lifnei Hashem, and then also the eastern border where you want to settle will be lifnei Hashem. It'll be part of Eretz Yisrael. It will become part of Eretz Yisrael. We understand we are fighting just now a religious war. I have 5 children, Baruch Hashem, 4 girls and 1 boy, Baruch Hashem, all adults, all married. My 4 sons-in-law have been in and out of the army for quite a few months now. My son was in the army from the first day, from 7th of October till last Sunday. That means 281 days non-stop. Was a soldier, and now he got out last week. But we are in a war. I'm proud of our children, our Talmidim. We have tens of thousands of Talmidim, of Yeshivot and Ulpanot Bnei Akiva, that are fighting this war, the war which is obviously a mitzvah lifnei Hashem, to revenge Am Yisrael, to take revenge and to recapture the land in a very clear way. We're paying a high price. We have already lost 54 Talmidim, students of ours, graduates of ours, alumni of ours. I'm sorry to say, I personally have lost in this war already 4 students. We had to bury 4 students of mine who fell in battle. The most painful thing in our eyes is the widows. Nobody budgets a war and budgets widows. And out of our 54 boys that fell, we have 17 widows, 48 orphans. And we are currently fundraising through afyba.org. If you go online, afyba.org, you'll see there's a way to donate to these widows and orphans of students of ours. I understand many people are donating through FIDF and through Hatzalah and through Magen David Adom, and there are many good organizations. We all have to be part of this big mitzvah. This is a mitzvah. It's not a personal mitzvah of anybody. It is a national mitzvah. And as part of the Jewish people, we all have to get together. And like Moshe Rabbeinu was happy to do the mitzvah at the time, we have to be happy to do this mitzvah all together and donate until it hurts. Shabbat Shalom.